couple.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
Enrique Perez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the happy hour right here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. I am Rico, joining you for another hour, and I'll be on for another 4 hours after this, so get used to my voice because you're going to hear it a lot today. Joined by Bach today. Bach, how you doing?
Oh, not too bad.
You ready for another hour?
Yeah. I'll be on for a few more hours.
You ready to go through some more NFL draft class?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, everybody. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line. You guys can text in your thoughts on some of these NFL draft. No, I'm kidding. We might go through some draft classes. We might talk about some other stuff. Just some things going on here in the world of sports. But again, I'm Rico, joined by Bach. Happy hour. Nick is out taking some classes because he's got some stuff to take care of. You know, he's being a student and everything.
Graduate pretty soon.
Yeah, he's just being a nerd. Why can't he just graduate already? You know, he's just trying to get things done. But me and Bach are joining you here now, and a little update actually from Nebraska Bowling, who is down in Las Vegas at the Final Four of the national championships. They are playing McKendree, the defending national champions, and they won so I'm not 100% how the games go or the matches go, but and this is the confusing part. Okay, so they won the first game. So they took game 1, 1,134 to 1,037, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now their latest tweet says they had 9 strikes to close game 4. They're heading into the final game, and they are currently up 956 to 797. So I think I'm not 100% sure how the scoring or the game system works, but I know that they're up by 159 points in this second one, and they won the first one. I don't know how many they have to win, but right now they're doing a really good job holding off McKendree. Again, the defending national champions. It's McKendree, Nebraska, Stephen F. Austin, and Vanderbilt all down in Vegas vying for the national championship. And Nebraska Bowling currently going against the defending champions, doing a really good job. At least that's what the numbers, at least based on what I can understand.
Well, you don't get, obviously at that level, you don't get a handicap. That's what confuses us about our bowling league is I couldn't tell, because how many points you're ahead, depending on your handicap, that matters. But obviously no handicap.
Well, they won the first one by like 103 points, right? Yeah, 103 points. And then they started it, so it said Baker match versus McKendree. I don't know what Baker match means, but it said starting up game 2, Nebraska was at 200 points, McKendree was at 217. So I think it was after like the first frame of the first 5 bowlers. Again, not 100% how the scoring works, but they were down by 17 starting up game 2. So, but now they are up by 159, which seems like a lot. I'm not the greatest bowler, so I couldn't tell you.
it seems like almost too much that I don't think that I understand the system, because I would think that's like another bowler. They're like ahead by a bowler.
They're ahead by like an entire bowler.
By an entire bowler. So
I wish
I'm confused.
Yeah, I know this makes us sound ridiculous because we don't know what we're talking about. We have the bowlers on once a week, every week. We should know more about this, but I can tell you they are doing really well. They're ahead of McKendree right now.
Yeah. And the fact that they're playing for the national title. That's
this one. So it's the Final Four. So this is the first one, and if they win this, then they go on to face whoever else is down there. Yeah. I think it's Stephen F. Austin and Vanderbilt, but I could be wrong. We'll see.
Vanderbilt's not supposed to be good at bowling.
I remember, so the head bowling coach was on, and I should know his name, and I was just spacing it right now. He was on with Early Break, and he was talking about Vanderbilt, how they're not like a traditional, or they walk around like they're hot stuff. But I don't exactly remember what he said, but he wasn't the biggest fan of Vanderbilt.
Okay, they have
Paul Klempa.
They have some swagger to them.
Yeah, he wasn't the biggest fan of Vanderbilt.
Interesting.
So
they've if you can bowl well and you get a degree from Vanderbilt, you look
Yeah, it looks
I
pretty
might
good.
have some swagger
Looks
too,
pretty
yeah.
good. Some Vanderbilt swag. I'd be
That's
okay
right.
with that. Also, an update. I'm just going to update you guys on some of the happenings going on around Nebraska athletics, because the men's gymnastics team is at NCAA qualifiers, session 1. Where are they at? It says the Rec Hall. So they're in State College, Pennsylvania. They're going up against Air Force, Army, Illinois, Navy, and Stanford. And through rotations, they are currently in second place with 201.930 points, while Stanford is at a score of 213,695 in first. But those two are far and away the two best teams, because third place is Illinois at 199. So Nebraska and Stanford doing their thing, and they are going on to the vault right now for men's gymnastics.
And I think it's interesting too, just as Nebraska's athletic department overall. I know they updated the I can't figure they called the Learfield Cup or something, whatever it is, the athletic department award basically for all your sports. And I know Nebraska was in a pretty significant hole heading into the winter season, and you were thinking, man, this might be an all-time low. The last time the standings were updated, though, they're like 41st. Obviously, a championship in bowling could go a long way. And wherever they finish in gymnastics, I know they've had some really good outcomes from their winter sports to boost it. And I know 41st doesn't sound great. I mean, but again, this was from a place where Nebraska was kind of flirting with I think in the 80s or something if they wouldn't have had some good results here. So and that's something that I think is interesting, because we all know what moves the money around here is football, but Trev Alberts, and his job as athletic department and kind of what he's been saying is try to get everybody to move upward and kind of in one motion, right, together. And it does seem like some of these, sure, there's going to be some sports that are going to need retooling and kind of reconfiguring and all that, but it does seem like Nebraska just as a whole seems to be competing in a lot of their sports.
Like you said, for that cup, it takes into account all of the sports that you have on campus. So there are schools like Stanford, who has a million sports that they compete in, who will have the upper hand. But Nebraska as a whole, all of their sports, for the most part, have had pretty successful seasons. I was going back, like you said, coming out of the winter, they weren't the highest, or they were at 41st. I did remember one of the teams that had a really good finish, had a couple, or had at least one national champion, the rifle team. They finished 6th at nationals. So I'm sure that helped boost the score up a little bit. Like you said, the women's gymnastics team made the national tournament, ended up falling out in Denver in that first round of it. The men's team doing a really good job right now in the first round. The bowling team in the Final Fours.
Wrestling was top 10, right?
Wrestling was top 10, and we've got an update from Wet Blanket. Thank you, Wet Blanket. The Final Four is double elimination. The participants are NU, McKendree, Vanderbilt, and Arkansas State. Okay, so I was wrong. It was not Stephen F. Austin. Arkansas State. But either way, Nebraska, all sports have been doing a really good job. Hopefully some of the sports that haven't had the greatest success are unfortunately the biggest moneymakers in football and men's basketball. Hopefully those two can get it turned around, because everywhere else seems to be having a lot of success.
Yeah, and I mean, we watched the track and field. They had a pretty good year.
Outdoor, I think the men are ranked 6th and the women are 19th, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So they're having a great outdoor as well. It's going to be a great season on the track. Although I don't think they're going to have a home meet, because there's no stands at the outdoor track. It does look beautiful, though. There's no stands, though. So I don't think they're going to have a home meet, unfortunately.
They're going to
makes me very sad.
the stands?
I don't know where they're going to put the stands. It doesn't look like there's a lot of room for stands.
In the middle?
That would be ridiculous.
That would be really strange. Different, I don't know why you would do that, but
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. But Nebraska basketball, though, like you mentioned, I do feel good about where this program's going. And, obviously under Fred Hoiberg, it's been, it obviously got a lot better last year, but a couple of years ago, obviously the first couple of years under his tenure, not a whole lot of wins. I was saying this earlier. I look at their roster now, and not to downplay, some of the contributions of anybody that makes the roster, but most of the time in Nebraska basketball history, you look at it and you just see, a project or guys that that maybe aren't living up to what your expectation was coming in, but they're still a good teammate at the end of the bench.
Mhm.
I don't necessarily see that with this team now, and maybe some of these, the transfers that coming in, you still have to see them, but I think it's a pretty darn full roster of guys that I think can play and compete. And I don't, you hate to say wasted scholarship or anything like that, but I guess my point is when I look at the scholarship distribution chart, it's like there's like 13, once they get the extra recruit, they have 2 more scholarships. So we'll see what it ends up being. So maybe the last 2 aren't going to be good, but they've got great guys on campus. And so that's kind of more to your point. My point with like Latrell Wright, or Hunter Salas, if they're able to add them. They've got another guy I don't have my name. His name
John Hewley isn't coming in.
John Hewley is not coming in.
No, after the commitment from Rink Mass, John Hewley, the big man from Pitt, canceled his visit to Nebraska. He was going to visit this weekend, I believe. The 17th through the 19th. So not this weekend, but he was going to visit the 17th through the 19th. But he's no longer visiting Nebraska. I believe he has a visit with Oklahoma scheduled for this weekend, and then he was going to come back from Oklahoma, visit Nebraska. But no longer visiting Nebraska. So missing out on the I think he's 6'9", 6'10", big man from Pitt.
But it kind of gives you an idea of the role that they see Rink Mass in. I mean, this is, you kind of think, okay, because when I was thinking, because if John Hewley was still going to visit and maybe give Nebraska an opportunity, then you would think, you kind of wonder like they're going to battle out for the starting spot. But you got to believe that Rink Mass is right there. Now you still have Breidenbach, you still have Blaze Keita to battle with, but I think that's kind of gives you an idea of where they think Rink Mass fits in. But the name I was looking for, a guy that will be here actually with Latrell Wright Jr. I believe today, the race that starts today, is Brady Dunlap, a 4-star high school prospect who has Nebraska in his Final Four, a former Notre Dame commit, a shooter in particular who has North Carolina and Villanova in his Final 5. So it's not every day that Nebraska could maybe win, especially a college player. A high school player heading straight to college, not out of the transfer portal, but a high school player that has North Carolina on his list.
It's the weirdest Final 5 that he has. His top 5.
It is kind of strange.
Nebraska, North Carolina. Okay, so hold on. North Carolina, Villanova. Yeah, I get that.
Cream of the crop.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. St. John's.
Okay.
They're pretty good. They just got a new coach. Rick Pitino is there now, so I understand that one as well. Penn State and Nebraska. The 2 Big Ten schools, you're just looking at them like, you have 2 Big Ten schools, and they're Nebraska and Penn State, an ACC school in North Carolina, and then 2 Big East schools, Villanova and St. John's.
Yes.
But, St. John's has, like I just said, they have Pitino, so they're on the up and up, hopefully, maybe. You would think that wherever he goes, he usually has a lot of success as long as he stays coaching and keeps everything on the court and no off the court mistakes from Pitino. But it's a strange top 5.
Well, the other thing too is when I think about St. John's, it's like every time Nebraska played him, they played him a couple times this last couple of years under Mike Anderson. They looked like Nebraska not only was like outclassed that day, but just didn't look like they belonged on the same court as St. John's.
No.
And then St. John's would go
Their
on.
players look different.
Yeah, and then St. John's would go on to have a mediocre year and not make the tournament to the point that Mike Anderson is no longer there.
Finished like 500 or below 500 in the Big East, and you're just like, what? How did Nebraska lose by 20 to these guys?
When Nebraska plays them, they look like a group of future NBA players.
You're like, this team could make a run in the NCAA tournament, and then they don't even make the NCAA tournament.
And also on that note, I think it's Andre Curbelo, the former Illinois, basically 6th man of the year in the Big Ten, I think a few years ago, and then kind of didn't live up to what he was replacing Ayo DeSumo and just didn't live up to that hype. Went to St. John's. Now he's transferring again because of the coaching change. So.
Hey, he gets a unique transfer and he can play right away.
Yeah.
Shout out to coaching changes.
Yes. And Curbelo, because I remember when he was injured at Illinois on the bench, he was talking trash.
Didn't he get teed up?
Yeah.
He got teed up from the bench in street clothes.
Yeah.
Who does that?
Playing. Yeah.
Who does that? That's ridiculous.
But he was quick. I mean, he is still going to be playing. So I shouldn't say he was. I don't know where he's going to be playing, but he is a quick guard.
Maybe he'll come to Nebraska. I doubt it. Nebraska's got their fill. Like you just said, they've got Hunter Salas visiting for the spring game. Latrell Wrightsell in town now. I think getting Latrell Wrightsell would be massive for Nebraska men's basketball, just because he's. I got to be careful how I say it. He's more proven than some of the other guys that they're targeting, because although he played at Cal State Fullerton, he averaged somewhere like 17 points a game. And if you watch them play, or if you watch some of the things that he was able to do, he's got that clutch gene. He's got the ice in his veins. He hit a couple game winners for Cal State Fullerton. They just missed out on the NCAA tournament. They made the conference title game in their conference and ended up losing in the title game for that. So they just missed out on the NCAA tournament. Or I think, if they were in the tournament, Latrell would have done some pretty good things and got his name out there. So when he did enter the transfer portal, I think a lot more schools would be looking at him. It's not like a lot of schools aren't looking at him, but we'll see. Hopefully, at least for me on my wish list, Latrell is number one to play in a Husker jersey.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because I think they have two scholarships right now.
Yep, only 2.
And
unless people can still leave.
People can still leave.
So I guess it depends, because if you get, let's say they snag Latrell and Salas, that's 2 more guards that you're adding on top of an already guard heavy roster. You got to expect at least one person maybe to end up leaving.
Yeah, and obviously you're gonna kind of be thinking about Keisei Tamanaga when he makes his decision. We're kind of waiting on that. But I guess my point is, if you have 2 scholarships and you have this Brady Dunlap, and you have Latrell Wrightsell Jr. And Hunter Salas, and I'm sure there's other targets that those are just the ones off the top of my head. Is again goes to, I think it's going to be pretty competitive to play even at Nebraska next year. If you get those guys, it's going to be competitive to get those last 2 spots. And then, like I was saying, here's the team as of next year, as of today. And I see a lot of guys. I could see any of these guys playing basically significant minutes. Keisei Tamanaga, Juwan Gary, who, by the way, could play 2 more years at Nebraska. Rink Moss, Bryce Williams. These are the new guys, also could play 2 years at Nebraska. CJ Welcher, Blaze Keita, Wilhelm Breidenbeck, Jamarcus Lawrence, Quran McPherson, and Ramel Lloyd. And then Eli Rice, who is coming in
from IMG.
Yeah, and it looks like a guy that could play pretty, right away. So, Quran McPherson obviously coming off of injury, Ramel Lloyd taking the redshirt year. But I don't know if you hear a guy there that you can just say, I don't think he's going to play next year. I don't know who it is, because I think all those guys are, that's 11 spots.
I would like to keep all of them.
8 or 9.
I would like to keep all of them, but unfortunately, that's probably not going to happen. But
who's even going to play amongst those? Like, who's going to be your core 8 guys?
Exactly.
It's going to be competitive.
Unless you're running a really deep bench.
Yeah.
I think you're just swapping in and out, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. But whatever. On that note, we are going to take a break here on the Happy Hour. Up next, big announcement. We've got Hope Shortridge coming in, and she's going to talk about some of the stuff that she's going to be doing right here on 93.7 The Ticket. So keep it tuned right here to the Happy Hour on 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll be right back.
Follow Nick Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 97 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
WWE Friday Night SmackDown comes to Lincoln's Pinnacle Bank Arena, 6:45 this Friday. I am back. You see there. And more. Night Raw, the OCs Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson face the Judgment Day's Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio, and more. Tickets start at $20. Available now at Ticketmaster.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mix Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical, and retirement benefits, paid time off, and we pay for CDL training. Apply today to earn an average total compensation of $50,000 to $60,000 your first year driving. From Nebco's beginnings in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
The Butchery by Venue is Lincoln's premier specialty grocers. Take the quality of Venue home with you with our hand-cut steaks, handcrafted burgers, and locally sourced offerings. Browse our wide selection of specialty products designed to enhance your dining experiences with cheeses, spices, sauces, and more. We also have an exclusive collection of liquors, whiskeys, and bourbons at prices you're sure to love. Stop in to the Butchery by Venue today. Located in our Venue at Home storefront at 70th and Pioneers, just 2 doors down from Venue Restaurant and Lounge.
Babe, pack your bags. We're going to Vegas.
Vegas?
We just got the estimate from the wedding caterer, and we're going to have to elope.
Actually, Members Owned Credit Union is offering no-fee home equity lines of credit. We can borrow what we need with equity from the house.
Wait, so we can keep the bacon wrap dates for the cocktail hour?
We can keep the bacon wrap dates. From wedding bells to trekking the globe and everything in between. Capture your dreams your way with a no-fee Members Owned Credit Union home equity line of credit. Learn more at membersownedheloc.org. Limitations may apply. Equal.
It's April, and that means the school year is almost over and summer road trips are on the horizon. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride, as summer road trips are just around the corner. Mullen Motors.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. At Foundation Repair, we fix basements.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking is a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. There's health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
The Empire brand is growing with ESC fabrication and sandblasting. ESC is your place for custom handrails, industrial and commercial painting, and more. ESC provides custom welding for aluminum and stainless steel and media blasting of all sorts. ESC is great attention to detail. They stick to deadlines and keep within your budget. If you can dream it, they can make it. Contact ESC Fabrication in Waverly today at 531-207-9329.
What's with all the Nebraska lottery scratch tickets? We're going to a baseball game.
They're for the seventh inning scratch.
You mean the seventh inning stretch?
Hey, you can stretch if you want. I'm scratching.
Starting a new baseball tradition?
Sure. Why not add even more excitement to the game? Check out all these fun tickets. And I could win thousands between innings.
And I suppose the next thing you'll do is change Take Me Out to the Ball Game to Take Me Out to a Nebraska lottery retailer.
Buy me some peanuts and scratch tickets. Play is good. Go play. Odds vary by game.
Hello, Talking Deer here. I want to take this time to thank the Nebraska Lottery. Since 1993, Nebraska Lottery proceeds, over $900 million, have gone to its beneficiaries, including the environment. And since I'm out here in the field every day, I see it firsthand, or first hoof, I guess.
Who are you talking to, dear?
Oh, I was just thanking the Nebraska Lottery and all the people who play for supporting the Nebraska environment.
That's nice, dear.
The Nebraska Lottery, 30 years of building a better.
You're listening to The Hour. Nick Sainert.
I'm leaving people.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
What do you mean, you people? What do you mean, you people?
Sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the Happy Hour here on 93.7 The Ticket. I am Rico, joined by Bach, joined by two very special guests. We have DP in the studio, and we have Hope Shortridge in the studio, who has a very special announcement to make. But before we get to that, just really fast, I do have to let people know, you can get a picture with Johnny the Jet Rogers this Saturday, April 15th from noon till 2 p.m. at Best of Big Red on 321 North 8th Street in the Haymarket. It's a free picture with Johnny and the Heisman Trophy, the 50th anniversary Heisman Ball available, and you can get free autographs on store-bought balls, minis, hats, and more. Also, if you have a personal item that you want to bring down and have Johnny sign, you can bring it down, but it will cost you $20 to have him sign that. Again, getting a free picture with Johnny the Jet Rogers at Best of Big Red, 321 North 8th Street in the Haymarket this Saturday, April 15th from noon till 2 p.m.
Well done. Well done.
Sometimes I can read things real good.
Well, that's
you put some words in front of me, I'll make it sound real good.
That's a UNK Kearney degree.
You know it. Shout out to the Lopers. Only took me 5.5 years to get.
Money well spent. Money well spent.
Well, I'm
sir.
still spending
Money,
it.
money well spent. Money well spent. I'll ask you guys this. Do you remember when you knew that this is something you wanted to do? Do you remember when?
I know exactly when.
What was it for you?
It was the second time I changed my major,
Yeah.
and then the guy and the professor for exercise science told me in not as many words, "You're too stupid to do this."
This is not.
So I was like, "Oh, okay."
This is not for you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, this is not.
I had some friends doing some journalism stuff and some mass communication stuff, and I was like, "Hey, this looks interesting." And they're like, "Hey, just come on over." Changed my major, went into it, and immediately fell in love. I never even thought about doing it before.
Yeah. Bach, when did you know?
Yeah, I was a print major too, and then they had a sign up to if you wanted to try broadcasting out just for a game, and at the College of Journalism, and I was like, yeah, I'll definitely do that. Somehow I got the game of Nebraska Texas, and Texas was the number 2 team in the nation, and just the number 1 team had just lost, so they were basically number 1.
Yeah.
Nebraska beat Texas. I called it. Never wanted to do anything besides radio.
That was
since.
it.
That got me in there. I was there.
That was it. It is a drug.
And they haven't beaten Texas since.
Yeah, it's all your fault.
Yeah, well,
It's all your fault. It's all your fault.
I also called the last Nebraska versus Wisconsin win in football on radio.
I think we need to get him back calling these games.
They go back on Karen. You.
Yeah, it's all Bach's fault. Like we can blame that.
Well, 100%.
Well, through what we do, and it's been, I actually, because of this young lady, I reached out to somebody that meant a lot to me. Because they were the person that kind of pushed the door open for me to do this thing that we do, and years later, we stand here today. And a big part of this is responsibility, and then the blessing to be able to help somebody do a thing, achieve a thing, a greater version of themselves, especially how they see themselves. And I get a text from this young lady, and it's, this is, you may not know who I am, and I'm like, wait a minute, first of all, I do know who you are. Because you've been around with Peter Ferguson and have seen your stuff online. And she says, "Yeah, this is something I'd like to do in my life." And then she goes further to say, "I have this dream." And Hope, if you would first introduce yourself to our listeners.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hope Shortridge. I'm a junior at Lincoln East High School and a part of the Bay High Focus program in the mornings through LPS. And I'm very excited to be here today.
No, this is awesome. So explain to folks the message you sent to me.
I got your contact from a previous coach and friend's dad of mine, and just basically was reaching for the stars. I was like, this is probably too late, but doesn't hurt to try. So I would like to do this thing, and you're the person I think can help me. So
describe this thing. Describe this thing.
Thing.
That you want to do. Yeah.
I would like to broadcast the Southwest versus Lincoln East baseball game on 93.7 The Ticket.
Right. So through that, and there's several things in play. One, dealing with LPS. I said, okay, here's a couple of things. But I said, okay, first thing, do your parents know you want to do this thing? Right. So where do your parents know, and are they on board?
Yes, they are great. I have great support from my parents, my family, and friends, cousins, and coaches, and everyone from my school. So I'm very excited.
And you've talked to the principal, you've talked to the athletic director, you've talked to the head coaches.
Yes, we're on first name basis at this point.
Perfect.
I walk into the athletic director's office at least 3 times a week, if not for their candy, but just to say hi to Mrs. Manzito.
Right, just to know what it is. And so, the game itself, you have personal interest in the game. Please tell.
Yeah, so my twin brother is on the baseball team. I'm a minute older, by the way.
There you go.
Thought I'd put that out there.
Always have to throw that out there.
There you go.
I feel like that's always a point of contention with twins.
Yes, it's an important thing to notice. And so I've grown up around baseball, and Southwest and East kind of have pretty big rivalry compared to Nebraska and Texas, and Nebraska and Creighton and other schools like that. So I was like, I know a lot. I obviously know the East team very well because I'm with them every day, and I know a lot of kids on Southwest because my brother used to play with them. And so I was like, when we were deciding we want to do this, I was like, why not this one?
So we reach out because you've got to the approval and got to get these folks on board. And then immediately I thought, okay, let me meet this young lady. Let me see what the real vibe is. And if you're not on the stream, Hope shines. Like she absolutely shines. And this is the thing that's important to her. And the fact that she took the step to reach out and to be proactive. And shout out to Jason Chambers because he also co-signed. He said, "Listen, this is a great young lady, great family. I think it would be big." I also think it's exceptional that you chose baseball. You said, "Okay, I played softball, but this baseball thing I love." So you stepped out of your comfort zone, and you're going to make us better by what you're about to do. So next Wednesday, you're broadcasting who?
The Lincoln East versus Lincoln Southwest baseball game at 4:30 p.m. at Den Hartog Baseball Field, which is adjacent to Seacrest football field and soccer field.
So live here on the ticket next Wednesday, Hope is going to call, and this is the first one for the ticket, and this will open the door for us to do for the 1970 ticket folks to do more high school baseball and be able to cover Lincoln baseball because it helped us figure out some of the mechanics behind it and some of the contact points. But I have to tell you, if you're open to it, this won't be the only game you call this year on 93.7 The Ticket. If you're up for this, let's get you through the first one and make sure that happens, and you'll have full support. Nick Sander will be side by side with you just to make sure you have everything you need. I believe it's Rico. No, it's Austin will be here to produce and make sure that you have what you need. I'll be there with you. You're actually going to be on the old brick and mortar radio, and the Royals game that day is at 1:00. So you're going to follow Royals baseball.
You're going to one up Royals baseball, right?
They might win.
No pressure whatsoever.
It's a big might.
Yeah,
Based on how this season has started.
Right? No pressure at all. So through this, I want to say to you that we will be here for you in whatever way we can be here, in every form. Shout out to your parents and the school system and the coaches for being open and accessible to you and allowing this thing to happen for you. I'm excited about what you're going to do with it. It's kind of our job to make sure that the next ones get whatever they need. So, and you obviously care enough about it to go about it and put yourself out there. So next Wednesday, young lady.
That's the day.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I mean, like you said, I have great support from everyone, but I really just want to make sure that I take time to say thank you to our head coach, Michael Lonick. We sat down in September or October earlier this year. We kind of made like a dream list of, okay, what do we want to do this year? Graphics, pictures, different videos, live tweeting during the game. So I'm doing all of that. But then we also shouted out like 2 other ideas. I was like, well, let's do a podcast. So go listen to East Baseball on the Mic, my podcast.
Right.
We got 3 episodes out now already. And I was like, let's broadcast the Southwest game on 93.7 Ticket. He was like, well, why? And I was like, well, Southwest, duh.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, well,
Yeah.
duh. And the Ticket, I just grew up listening to that. And so let's just mark it as a dream. And it's crazy that it's actually happening.
It's happening. I also want to say this to you. I'm going to open the door. I know that our morning intern leaves after the student year ends, so at the end of May. If you're available, I'm going to open that internship for the early break show at 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. weekday morning. But to put you in the room with Jake Sorensen, Steve Sipple, and Coach Bill Bush, so you can get your feet down
So I
on the
can get a
ground.
crack and see it.
Yeah, right. Like
Everybody needs one.
Shut up, Sybil.
Perfect.
So it's there. I wanted to personally welcome you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
To personally celebrate you and say this is such a big thing. I'm looking forward to what this is going to be. We're going to bring you on some of the other shows next week and a lead up to it, and then Wednesday, it's big time.
Yeah.
It's big time. Thank you for making this, because this is good for us as well. You're making us better, and this is why we're here. So, Hope, I'm looking forward to it, young lady.
I am too, you guys. It's
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. You're gonna do fantastic, especially you got DP and Nick by your side, two old baseball guys. Even though Nick's what, 12.
Yeah. You'll have to talk Nick off the ledge. Like that's going to be his thing. It's just like he'll want to sit down with you and do his thing. Mark Unweiler's up to no good. Is this? He's like I don't know if this is a thing that
we can get that late. We can get that after the break.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to that after the break.
We'll handle that. Again, Hope, welcome to it. I'm looking forward to what this is going to be for you.
Thanks so much, guys.
All right.
No
Guys,
problem.
get us out of here.
We're gonna go to a break. When we come back, I think we have Bob on the line, so we might get to Bob on the other side of this break.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you looking for a solid, stable career in assembly, CNC machining, or injection molding? We got you covered. Hi, Bob Williams, HR Director for Garner Industries, a world-class manufacturer with a 70-year history right here in Lincoln. And I just listed some great career opportunities that you can find by logging into GarnerIndustries.com. If you want top pay, excellent benefits, flexible work hours, and the opportunity to work in a clean, modern, air-conditioned facility with great people, contact me today by applying online at GarnerIndustries.com.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
It's the final home game of the regular season for the Lincoln Stars on Friday, April 21st, when they host the Tri-City Storm at 7:05 p.m. It's Fandemonium at the Ice Pods. The Stars are celebrating their great fans with prizes throughout the evening. Cheer on the Stars one final time in the regular season before the Clark Cup playoffs begin on April 24th. Get your tickets now at LincolnStars.com or by calling 402-474-7827.
It's April, and that means the school year is almost over and summer road trips are on the horizon. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride, as summer road trips are just around the corner. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
The Empire brand is growing with ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting. ESC is your place for custom handrails, industrial and commercial painting, and more. ESC provides custom welding for aluminum and stainless steel and media blasting of all sorts. ESC has great attention to detail. They stick to deadlines and keep within your budget. If you can dream it, they can make it. Contact ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting in Waverly today at 31207-9329.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Mike Shaver here to tell you that Trek CBD has a new name, and it's Hemp Boss. It's the same product you've grown to love, just a new name. Spring sports are on the horizon, and Hemp Boss has a variety of products that help calm me down during games and on the golf course, so I don't go over the top. And they have a variety of options for you to calm you down before, during, and after any event. Whether you're looking for drinkable Delta 8 seltzers, hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups for your beverages, or anything else, Hemp Boss has it all at 84 on the internet. Hemp Boss, naturally healthy CBD.
The best way to learn about Southeast Community College is to visit. And you can check out our spaces before you visit in person with a virtual campus tour. An opportunity to see our campuses in Beatrice, Lincoln, and Milford as you learn about our programs and areas of study. There are virtual tours of our learning centers too. We can even take you on a personalized virtual tour. Learn more on our website, southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415. Or on ambitionelectric.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go big red.
The Butchery by Venue is Lincoln's premier specialty grocers. Take the quality of Venue home with you with our hand-cut steaks, handcrafted burgers, and locally sourced offerings. Browse our wide selection of specialty products designed to enhance your dining experiences with cheeses, spices, sauces, and more. We also have an exclusive collection of liquors, whiskeys, and bourbons at prices you're sure to love. Stop in to the Butchery by Venue today. Located in our Venue at Home storefront at 70th and Pioneers, just 2 doors down from Venue Restaurant and Lounge.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
When I gave you the cookie, I heard very clearly, I don't think about you, Schmidt.
Why would I think about you?
Because we're friends. We're not animals.
We're men. The only time a man is allowed to think about another man is when that man is Jay Cutler.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Might be my favorite rejoin for the happy hour. I don't know. I love New Girl so much, and that's just hey, shout out to the shirt, Brown Lightning.
Oh yeah.
So it's all good. Shout out to New Girl. Love that show. But welcome back to the happy hour, final segment. Hope's still with us.
Hey everyone.
And Hope gets to enjoy the presence of our caller. We have somebody on the line, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, 402-464-5685. Bob joins us. Bob, what's up, man?
Hey guys, hey, I'm back in Lincoln. What's going? Here's the stadium. But I'll be back. I'll come back once the game is over. I'll go to Omaha, and then I'll be back in Lincoln next week for the red and white game, and then I'm not sure. I'll probably be headed out to Wyoming.
That's why. Weren't you headed to Illinois, Indiana?
I went to Gary, Indiana, and went to meet her, and it was just over a year. And when I got up there on Thursday, on Friday, and through until Monday, kept saying that she decided she didn't want a relationship.
Oh.
And so when I left, she got mad, and then she got mad, and she said she wanted to talk to me after she got home. But she was gone all night with the guy that she had been with.
It's okay, Bob. It's okay. It's okay, man. I'm sorry that happened to you. We don't need the whole story. Sorry that happened to you. Welcome back to Lincoln. I'm glad you're back in Nebraska. You're out at the baseball field right now, right?
Yeah, waiting for us to beat the Barney team. You know,
Northwest. Yeah, there you go, man. All right, man. Well, hey, enjoy that. Enjoy the beautiful weather. Enjoy the spring game next week. But hey, man, great to have you back in Nebraska. Have yourself a great day, man.
All right, you guys. Talk to you guys a little later.
Okay. There you go.
That's Bob. I was not expecting to get the entire story.
Yeah.
So that was a surprise. Hey, welcome in. That's Bob. He calls a lot.
Yeah.
Bob's a loyal listener.
Bob is funny.
Bob is a loyal listener. Very, very, very big Nebraska fan. Had a lot of faith. Yeah, had a lot of faith in the football team last year.
Yeah.
I think he said they were going to go undefeated. That obviously didn't happen.
I think he's
Not quite, Bob.
predicted that again for this year.
Oh, did he?
He tries to will it into existence.
He really does. Look, if you speak it into the universe enough, sometimes things happen.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
I don't.
Just like Ted Lasso, we're not that lucky.
It's just not going to happen. I'm sorry about it. But hey, like Bob said, Nebraska baseball taking on Northwestern today. First pitch is at 3:05, somewhere around those lines. Somewhere at 3. Just get down to Haymarket Park right now because it's gorgeous out. So you can just walk around, get yourself some snacks, get yourself a hot dog because that's what you need to do when you're down there at a ball game is eat yourself a hot dog. But enjoy Nebraska 3-game set with Northwestern, who is easily the worst team in the league. Nebraska probably should definitely 100% sweep them.
Knock on something.
I mean, I really we got wood everywhere, and I'll knock on everything. It's
Well,
fine.
even if they win 2-1, there'll be 3 Big Ten series they'll have won. So I mean, hopefully, I like
Yeah,
you want to
see,
sweep,
but
I get it.
but it's Northwestern.
I
Buck.
know,
They don't have any coaches,
but they've lost to UNO twice.
Do they have
this
any
year.
players?
They do. They still have players, but they have their head coach and a volunteer assistant, and everybody like their hitting coach, their pitching coach, and their like director of ops or something all quit.
Well, the NCAA doesn't like pay any baseball
Yeah,
coaches
nobody gets
anyway,
paid.
so.
So they all left. So they don't have any coaches. So I'm just saying. I think they have one win. They lost a midweek game to the University of Illinois Chicago, the other Chicago team.
Chicago's real Big Ten.
Chicago's real Big Ten team, 24-20.
Yeah.
They can score runs. They lost 24-20. Yeah.
That's a football score.
They lost 24. Their football team doesn't score 20
their
points.
football team doesn't do that.
I'm pretty sure.
A football score,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
baseball.
Football score.
But yeah, that's not the greatest. So they can score runs with the best of them. Hopefully, Nebraska's pitching is up to par. Like you said, they have lost to UNO. The only 2 times that they faced them this year, they weren't throwing their aces though.
Okay.
You got your Friday starter, your Saturday starter, and then hopefully they found a Sunday starter that they can go with. But hey, Nebraska baseball hopefully on the up and up after a disappointing loss to UNO.
They're really good though.
I wanted to ask you because you said during the break that you kind of grew up at Haymarket Park. Did you watch a lot of Salt Dogs games too, or mostly just Huskers?
Mainly just Husker baseball. We grew up a big sports family, always on the field. You know, I played softball, like I said, but I don't know what it was. Just something I was always wanting to be at baseball. I grew up listening to Greg Sharp and Ben McLaughlin.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
You find your way out of bowling also while you're out there? I mean,
Sometimes,
he had both of them out there, so why not?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're out of town this weekend.
Yeah.
They're playing the number 2 team in the Big Ten, Indiana,
Goodness.
which was a surprise when I looked at the standings. Northwestern's still number 1. Their softball team, great. Baseball team, not so much.
Yeah.
Their softball team is number 1 in the Big Ten, followed by Indiana. Wisconsin, I believe, is 4th. Nebraska is 5th. They have Indiana this weekend, Wisconsin at home, at Bowling next weekend. So I hope to see a lot of you out there because I'll be out there. You know, same time as, you get, Friday, Saturday. I think it'll be after the spring game. I'm not exactly sure what the time is. And then they got it on Sunday. So
yeah,
it'll be a full sports weekend next week.
Yes. With a lot of visitors, I like the spring game because it's like a lot of visitors from every program. It's just,
Everybody
where
brings
you
them
can,
in. Basketball, women's basketball, baseball. So everybody's coming in to watch the football game and then do their own thing.
Yeah.
And it's totally fine. You can hit the out music. We got about a minute left. I called one baseball game in college. I was terrified of it. But
boy.
you will do great.
Oh,
because you
good
actually
job, Rico.
because no,
Nice.
hold on. Ready for this? You actually know baseball. You said you grew up around baseball.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just watched baseball on TV from time to time. So I'm sitting there with a guy who played baseball, and that's the reason why I was terrified, because the guy was a former baseball player. He had just retired from the team for medical reasons, and he was giving me all these things, and I'm like, I don't know what you're saying.
I'm just here to talk, dude.
I was like, I don't know. And he's like, do you want to do play-by-play for the second inning? I go, no. They told me I was doing color. What are you doing?
Do I even have a color?
You have Nick and DP. You have
Okay.
2 colors.
Good.
Maybe.
Both of them.
Yeah.
We have enough headphones.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, it will
I'm
be
excited.
great. I'm
I'm
looking
excited.
forward
You
to
get a rivalry game. You like you said, you know a lot of the players on both teams.
Unfortunately.
Wow.
No, just
Or a few of them.
Sparks on top.
All right. Okay. We'll see what happens. Up next on the block, Eric Strickland will join from wherever he is.
Repeat after me. I will